Dang, we need something animated for that. What's up, nerds? Welcome to the one and only Unvaulted podcast. I am your host, Squatingdog, but my car mechanic won't call me back when I'm not streaming. Anyways, today we are talking about everything Season 8 and what you need to know going into Season 8. So, to get us started, I'm here with the wonderful, the beautiful, the amazing. It's PM. How we doing?
I'm doing great.
Welcome. Are you ready to talk about everything season 7 to season 8?
Yes, I am. I think we have a lot of hot opinions about this last season and a lot of hopes for the new season.
Truly. Before we beckon on this adventure of kind of recapping season 7 and going into season 8, tell me, PM, let's line up all of this chapter's seasons from your favorite to least favorite.
Okay. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I want to hear what you got.
Okay. I will start with the worst. I think this is pretty much a given for everyone's list. That is the Primal season.
Thank you.
Season 6.
Thank you.
And I get what Epic was trying to do with, trying to put in the new system of crafting. But I felt they did way too much too soon with the brand new weapons, and just the map was not. It just wasn't great. It just felt like a dud season. It wasn't the right time to introduce that mechanic. But I will preface that with something later. Number 6, Rift season 5.
Okay. Yep.
Not great either, but it did have Mando, which I loved. So
who doesn't?
It was just a season you forget about. I feel like,
Yep.
with the Primal, it was so bad you don't forget it, but season 5 you just kind of forget.
Well, you just have like so many like IPs coming into the game, right? That was the season where it was just like overclouded by here's another, and you're like, oh my gosh, how many things are we going to add to this?
It was a little too much all at once, and I just don't remember anything with that season. That's kind of the issue. Is like there wasn't a memorable moment besides Mando, and even then I was like, was that really that cool? Like, great, thank you. Number 5, the first season, I think I would put this higher, but to go from the season X loot to almost back to square one loot kind of sucked. But I rank it higher than the last two because obviously it was the biggest event Fortnite ever did with the black hole. And I was the person who spent however many hours watching that black hole. So I was very excited to see the next chapter come into play. Number 4 is the water season. So season 3, I loved kind of the swimming mechanic to it. There was a POI that I used to go to that I'm blanking on. It was called the Rig after it, but before that with the rare burst gun.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
Was a really cool mechanic.
That was awesome. I love that. That was great. And then number 3 is this current season 7. And the reason why I brought the Primal thing was because I thought with this season, that was the best way to bring in the crafting mechanic. I thought that was great. The way they did the nanite cubes, the nuts, as I call them. I thought it was perfect. I love the mothership. If they could keep that into next season in some way, that would be fantastic. Because those early, exactly, like those early fights or those early kind of, farming, it just gets so boring. And it was so great to have something that took it away. Like you could still do it in arena, that's fine, but it was great to have something that just switched it up. Number 2 was Midas. I just love that season. The grotto was great. Heavy snipers, that's the last time we had them, right? And I really wish we brought them back. Every POI was a hot drop. That seemed to be the last season where almost every content creator was streaming the game too.
Right.
That was big as well. And then number 1, Marvel season. I think that was such a cool season because I think it was a combination of the lockdown where everybody I knew was playing it. And it was really cool to have the Tony Stark weapons, the cars, the different kind of skins. Those collaborations are really perfect. And I'm a huge Marvel fanboy, so I'm kind of biased
such a nerd.
on that.
I forgot how nerdy you are.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's a good list. Yeah. That's a great list. The only thing I would change, okay, hear me out on this, is so Primal bottom always. Yes. There's just no question. And if you were listening and you think Primal was pretty great, like I'd love to talk to you because you said
We'll get
you
you on
must
the
be a
show.
fascinating person to me. Season 5 Rift, it was a little just overdone in terms of like collaborations. It kind of didn't really. I love the story elements for sure.
Yes.
But it was just kind of overclouded by too many collaborations that didn't feel like they fit really well with what they were trying to do. Where you see them now kind of like integrated a little bit better, even in the story. And for me, the original is going to be the third from the bottom. Not because it wasn't great. I loved the reset. I think they did a great job balancing the weapons that season. Like it felt like, oh, good. Like things feel a lot more balanced now. But it just took forever. Like that season went on so long.
We were talking about it pre-show, but they delayed the event like 4 times. Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, it just felt like we were all ready for a new season, like halfway through how long that season was. It was like we just needed new content, and there wasn't much that it was giving us. I've got at my 4 spot the water season. I just really loved how the whole map got affected, and it went up and down and it changed like multiple POIs. It made it really fun. I kind of wish it was in reverse though, where it started to get flooded instead of deflooding, but I understand why they did that. And for me, Marvel is going to be my 3rd favorite. I love Marvel as well. It did create for me a really interesting dynamic inside of our community. Like it was very split, and that I didn't like. I'll fanboy about Marvel every day, but it did create some really silly tension that I feel like was unnecessary for that like season, where like people either hated it or loved it, and it caused me to either not play with people that I loved because they just were not a fan of Marvel. I'm like, oh, what? Like, okay. But so for me, I just remember a lot of division happening in our Fortnite community. And then Aliens is going to be my second to favorite. This season's been awesome, mostly because of content. The only thing that I would say, and the reason why it's not the highest, is because there hasn't been any map changes. Very slow to map changes this season. And granted, they made a whole alien ship dynamic, which in some people could say, that's a map change. But for me, it wasn't enough. Like when I drop somewhere, I love the idea that they're going for, where they have like aliens floating in different areas so that when you land at a normal POI that you really love, it can drastically change based off of aliens abducting you, or the abductors, right? Like those big massive ships. You can choose to go to bounce and go get gold weapons or whatever. Like I love what they're doing, where they're mixing up like what would be a simple POI, a regular POI, and changing it every time you play. Love that. Like that's great. That's why you're up there. And then my favorite. Go ahead.
Sorry, real quick. I do think that is great. I loved that they brought in the spaceships to random POIs, because then it kind of broke up the like, oh, I'm just going to go to Misty every time, because I actually tried to avoid those places because it turns into a nightmare. But the fact that it's like, okay, it's in Misty this time, lazy next time, I can kind of pick pick a different spot each time, which is awesome. Just, Coral is the one place I won't go to. So
Carl, you mean Carl? Good old Carl. And then my favorite one is the spy season. There's just something magical about that season. I think it was just so much fun. The guns were amazing. They brought where you can pick somebody up and scan them type of thing. They had so much going on for just the excitement of playing that season was just so much fun. Like the POIs, the changing of those POIs too. I don't know if you remember, but Ghost versus Shadow. So like if Ghost won, something changed. Shadow won, something changed. It's like really cool. And the story of it was a lot of fun. So I think Spy for me is my favorite this chapter. What about you? Those listening, please leave a comment on this YouTube video if you're watching, or if you're on our Twitter feed. Let us know what you think. I'd love to know what you would rate chapter 2 in all of the seasons, because I think it's just interesting to see the progression and also the bounce back in some of these seasons, because it's not like we're progressing and it's like it's getting better and better and better, although Aliens is up there for me, but Primal was so bad.
It was so bad.
It's so interesting to see the ebb and flow of people's favorites. I think it would create an interesting dialogue. So if you guys can comment, feel free. If you're just listening, be sure to let us know at some point in time. But We are now here in season 7, going on to season 8. This is crazy. I feel like this chapter, man, it's been going by so quickly. So what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to do a nice little recap of what's happening in season 7, and then kind of what we know about season 8, because we actually know quite a bit. And I don't know how privy some of you guys are to rumors. I know there's a huge following out there of people watching leakers leak stuff. So my guess is you're probably interested in what even the leakers or what some of the rumors are out there of what season 8 could be. So we're going to touch all of that. But let's talk about season 7. As a whole, an alien ship just showed up, grabbed or didn't grab. There's, two different sides of the story here. Grabbed the 0 point, right? The thing that Jonesy has been using, the Foundation is interested in, and they locked it into a tower, season, what was that, 6? And now the alien ship shows up, it's like yoink, grabs the 0 point. What we think is they grabbed the 0 point, because we don't really know. It could be in the ground, it could be in the ship. I think it's in the ship. And now they're just kind of chilling. They have the most powerful thing, and they're just chilling with it, So now I guess they're going to try to abduct the island. So the POI starts changing. We get aliens, little head crab things that pop out, jump on your face, and take your health away, but then give you superpowers, kind of. We got a bunch of colonization happening from the aliens, and then we have the IO that are like, no, not interested in you being here. And so the IO have been putting together a plan, very slowly, I might add, to blow up the mothership. And how they're doing this is the mothership has been abducting POIs. And what's interesting about that in of itself is there's a lot of speculation that it's been doing this for a while now in different universes, in different worlds, on this island in particular, i.e. Tilted Towers. This alien ship has been abducting POIs. When we first go into the alien ship, before it's abducted anything, there are old POIs in there. My favorite being the Butter Barn. Good thing. It's the best thing in the world, Butter Barn. But they've been abducting a bunch of different POIs. And so now it's starting to do so on this chapter in this island. So they start doing so. And the IO's like, Sloane's like, hey, whoa, okay. If you're going to do this, we're going to just put a bunch of bombs on the bottom of this POI, get you to want it. And sure enough, the alien ship's now picking up Corny. And the idea is those bombs are going to go straight into the mothership and blow that thing to pieces. A few problems I have about this whole situation, which hopefully Sloane, maybe Superman, I don't know, it's going to help us out. That ship is 4 times bigger than our island. So if that thing blows up, it's going to literally pancake slap us, and we are going to be goners. So I don't know what the plan is there.
So what you're saying is new map?
Maybe, right? Maybe. But we also have Superman, which that guy's kind of a big deal,
Yes.
So maybe it's like it blows up and Superman just softly carries it off into the ocean and it goes and meets the Foundation. I don't know. But
whatever. Yeah, I hope The Rock makes an appearance. just make one. That's all I want. Like, oh, there's The Rock. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, it's a Foundation. He can fly too, apparently.
I also love someone mentioned that like Sloane was trying to stop the 0 point and now she's doing everything to now protect it. Someone was like, this doesn't make any sense. I think there's kind of a little bit of flaws kind of hinted in this, and that's why I'm excited for the event to see like how it plays out, because right now it kind of confuses me. But yeah, we'll see.
I'm gonna give you my theory of what will happen. I would love to hear yours.
Okay.
You want to give yours first? Or you want me to give mine?
No, you go ahead.
Okay.
I'm excited for yours.
This is my theory. Sloane's operation, right? There was already a mole, apparently, that knew they were going to do this. So I think maybe the bombs blow up inside the ship, but the ship's prepared and it doesn't do as much as they think it does. And now it's up to us, the Fortnite Island, to finish the job. Okay. We are given the task to, Star Wars the hell out of this spot. You know, you got to use the Force and shoot it right in the middle of the hole and it blows. You know, I think we're going to have a moment like that where Superman is going to kind of go, hey, I need some backup. There's a lot of people. Can you get these guys off my back? And we like shoot at them. And then Superman goes into the core of the ship and blows it up. Then it starts showering down all of these pieces. And it's up to us to destroy the pieces and try to where the island is underneath it. And so Superman's like moving big shards and we're like taking out smaller pieces, but big chunks of POIs of the ship drop on with the POIs that they've captured over the time span that it's been doing so. And lo and behold, we have Kevin, we have all of these other POIs that are showing up on the map.
Yeah.
Pushing us towards a Halloween event. What are your thoughts?
Okay. I mean, I am kind of on the same realm, I would say, as you. I definitely think we are going to have an active aspect of this. We are going to participate in something. That's what they've done the last 4 seasons now, I think, where every event we seem to be doing something. I think what's going to happen is they're going to shut the servers down. They're going to have like a little mini thing. Obviously the live event, they're going to shut it down. And I think when we open up the next battle pass is when we do that interactive thing you were talking about. I do think it's going to go up into, the mothership. It's going to explode. And I think we're going to kind of, not to say this term like this, but kind of get blue balled almost where, we don't know what's going to happen.
Okay. So it's going to be like, stay tuned.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a stay tuned thing because I've heard rumors of a black hole style event where they need like at least a few hours to kind of get things settled. So I wonder if that's going to be the case like we had last time where we got sucked into the black hole. Then we were like, wait, what does this mean? Sorry, go ahead.
For those that don't know, okay, I'm just going to voice this. PM wants a new map more than anyone I know.
I just like, I mean,
if there's any theory that he's going to grab onto, it's going to be one where this map gets completely annihilated.
That's not necessarily true. I also love the idea that you had where the POIs will drop and lay on the map. I think that is more realistic. I don't think they're going to get a new map. I think it would just be cool if like Butter Barn, Tilted, all these places that were originally in the mothership fell back down.
But honestly, to back your original idea, like Lachlan was playing with Ninja and was saying that he thinks there's going to be an entire new map.
I think there has to be something.
He was kind of like throwing that out there. Like I have a video where he's just like, kind of bringing it up to Ninja, and then just like, what Reddits are you on? What subreddits are you on? And he's like, I can link you a few. So I don't know if that's like insider and he's just kind of gently playing around with it, or, maybe it's all him just kind of getting crazy like you.
Well, he could also be trying to push the narrative too. Like he could be in the back of his head, like, okay, I'm sick of this map. Maybe if I say something, they'll kind of, next season, not this one kind of thing. I think the event happens, schedule time, mothership happens, Sloan, yada, 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 thing goes up, blows up. And at that point, we don't know what happens. Okay. And then the servers get shut offline. Everyone's like, oh my God, this is the next event. And then, when the servers come back online is when you do the interactive, like the mothership is falling kind of thing. And you have to save the island. Which is why I do agree that something like that is going to happen. I just don't know what it'll be. Are we going to be fighting aliens? Is it going to be fighting, materials? We're definitely going to be fighting something.
So it's worth mentioning that you should probably pick your skin if you're listening to this.
Yes.
Pick your skin appropriately. Okay. This event,
Banana.
You might lose it. Maybe you lose a skin. They take one from you. It's like you're going out to war and not coming back situation.
Yeah, Renegade Raider. Everyone should pick that if you have it, just so we can lose it. Thank you.
Yeah, Renegade Raider. Mm-hmm. I always go with Paradigm every time. I love Paradigm.
I wish I bought that.
So those are some of our theories. Let's go into what people are saying. Maybe people that have some insider perspective that are really good into nerdy coding can like realize some of this stuff. We actually know quite a bit about season 8. And so we're going to go through a few of these things, some that you guys might be aware of, and some that you might not, depending on who you follow, what Reddits you're a part of, those types of things. The very first obvious one that everyone has been talking about is the return of Kevin.
Oh, yeah.
The reason for this is because in the Ariana Grande concert, Kevin shows up as a memory, and that memory is on this island, not on the past chapter island.
Mm-hmm.
So that feels like a very obvious Easter egg. I don't think very many people would be shocked to say that that is happening. We have heard a lot of rumors that it's happening in season 8. We'll get into that. But that is something to be excited about because Kevin is like the golden boy of Fortnite. Everybody loves Kevin. We named him Kevin. We want his return. He's been teased throughout the seasons. We've talked about this in detail on this podcast. But I think Kevin's return, we can safely say, is coming in season 8. What do you think?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I agree with the when there's smoke, there's fire. There's been so much chatter about Kevin, just this chapter alone, that there's no way he doesn't make an appearance. Right. In some way, like whether it's he just falls out of the mothership and there he is, but he is definitely going to make some sort of appearance here.
Yep, for sure.
I hope we can just bounce off of him. That's all I want.
Have you been paying attention to Candy Wing at all?
No, but okay. I have heard about the stuff you were going to talk about.
Okay, cool. So for those that don't know what's going on, you can follow Candy Wing on Twitter. It's Q Candy Wing. He works at, I think, the Marriott, and Donald was visiting there with his family, and he got some time with Donald to chat, talk, and engage. And he's a huge fan of Donald, and Donald's a huge fan of Candy, and so they got into a few conversations. And he's like, Donald shared a lot, apparently, enough to where he says, "Hey, don't spoil the things we talked about." He told him, and so Candy, was allowed to share some stuff, and so he confirmed a few things that I think are really exciting. That and some things that are obviously super mysterious because Donald is going to be that type of guy to answer the question by not saying anything or saying something else. And so a few interesting things that are worth mentioning here is Candy Wing officially confirms that Naruto is coming to Fortnite. Naruto has been talked about in some of the Apple versus Epic Games cases as like some characters that they were trying to get along with Samus and a few others. But it was never confirmed that Naruto was ever picked up. There's been a lot of leaks of people saying that Naruto's coming. And now Candy Wing, from his conversation with Donald Mustard, says that he is coming. And not only that he would be a part of the battle pass. Of course, Donald was like, people ran with that really quickly once Candy said it. Leakers started retweeting. It started getting pretty nuts. And Donald, I think, saw some of that, was like, I got to do some damage control. Because apparently he's not a part of the season pass, but he is coming into the game. So that's kind of interesting. We've seen some leaks of people that are close with Epic saying that he would also have a weapon that you can use in the game. So typically that is incorporated in a battle pass in some capacity when that is happening, but it'll be interesting to see because they do this. We had the Kingsman umbrella that showed up in the game for a little while. They do those types of things, Star Wars lightsabers, but
Mando sniper is what I can think of. Yeah,
exactly. There's small windows in which they start to bring that stuff in. And I'm curious if it's going to be one of those things or if it's going to be a part of the season, right? Which if it's a part of the season, that could say a lot about what the season might be about too, if we really speculate, right? But it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a part of the battle pass. I think if he's come out and said that, yeah, I'm going to take his word for it. When's the last time he's come out and been like, nope, you guys are getting it wrong. I'm going to correct you. Like usually he's never done that.
Yeah, for sure.
There's been so many rumors throughout the last 3 years that he's never come out once and been like, no, you're wrong. This is what's going to actually happen.
For sure.
So I'm going to take his word and say, no, it's not on the battle pass, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was almost like a Superman kind of thing where there's hints of him in the battle pass, like raps or an emote or
Sure.
something like that, to where you're
Imagine
like,
he's the
oh, like,
secret skin, and Donald's like, no,
yeah,
no, it's not in there. It's not at all. No.
yeah.
And then it's like, secret skin. Like, oh shoot.
Like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. This is awkward.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna take his word. He's never come out and said or corrected anybody until now. So I'm gonna take his word for it.
You're gonna love this next one, PM.
Oh, I know.
Candy essentially asks, "Hey Donald, if you could define season 8 with one word, what would you say?" And Donald responded with, "The last reality." PM.
Sounds like a new map to me. That is what I want to hear. Honestly, I saw this before on Twitter, and not gonna lie, I got kind of excited hearing it, but I think I've felt this way before, where he said these things, and I'm like, oh, new map, and then nothing. So I'm just gonna wait until it happens. I'm not gonna get my hopes up. I wonder if the last reality is related to the Primal season 2, and maybe we're going to the last reality. As opposed to like this one being the quote unquote last reality. I don't know what it's so vague, but I can't lie. When I read this, I was like, this sounds like a new map.
Yeah. The last reality is kind of, and I also think this says more about maybe what's happening with the 0 point than with the map. Because if you remember season, I think it's 5 or 6, it's 5, where the 0 point started like blowing up a little bit and reality waves were shifting everything. Yeah. Like, they were very intentional about the language of that entire experience. And it makes me think the last reality is maybe the 0 point is in some serious issue and has like, if we don't figure it out in this reality, there aren't going to be any more. So that's my best take on it, but it'd be interesting to see how it works out.
It's really vague for me to get too excited, but it's hard not to when you hear last, and then you kind of want to be like, oh, is this the last time we'll be on this map? So we'll see.
The next thing that I think is worth mentioning out of it, and there's a lot, so if you guys want to follow them, we are going to be retweeting all of these accounts, so you can follow them and do your own research. But the last thing that I thought was very interesting is Candy also mentioned Link Samus, and he asked Donald, like, who's going to be the one? Who's going to be the one that you'll pick from Nintendo? Then Nintendo is super picky, and Donald, his response is very, very funny. He just laughs. And he goes, I love Nintendo. That was his response to that. Like, of like, which character are you going to bring into Fortnite? We need Nintendo. And then he just giggles to himself and goes, oh, I love Nintendo. Yeah. What do we do with that response, man? What do we do with that response?
I don't think they're going to get a Nintendo collab. I think that's what it means, to be honest with you. Or like a really in-depth one like he wants to. I wonder if he's like trying to get it like to happen. And they're just like, we'll see. Nintendo is famously known for kind of just putting out stuff and letting it fail because they make so much damn money that they just don't care. And so I kind of feel like Nintendo just doesn't care to really like go deep into Fortnite like Halo has, or DC has, or Marvel has. Sure. So I wonder if that's his way of being like, oh, I love Nintendo. I really, would love for this to happen. In the back of his head, he's like, please, 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 please.
Dude, imagine being the guy that's hired at Epic Games. Like, you go in, you're like, I could work at Epic. And then you look and it's like the ambassador to get Nintendo on board with what we're doing. It's somebody's job out there to go, hang out with these guys and be like, hey, so is there wiggle room? What do you like? There's a team that is trying to make this happen. And I think Donald is giggling because he's like, man, we've done a lot to try to get these guys on board, and they are hard to get on board. I think I still have hope for this, but I think it's just going to take an awful lot. Like, it's going to take way too much energy than it should. But I think they want that metaverse. And if they want the metaverse, you got to have Nintendo to be a part of it.
Well, if you're going to talk about Nintendo, I would love to see a Pokemon collab.
Totally.
That would
100%.
be, yeah. And we talked with Mustard Plays a while ago, but I think a great creative addition would be to do a Pokemon
Oh my God.
open world. Like, could you imagine
Incredible.
an open world Pokemon game in Fortnite creative?
Wow. Oh my God.
And then every time you catch one, that becomes your back bling or something like that. Like I having an Ash catch 'em skin in Fortnite, I think would be like the ultimate grail to me.
Yeah, we've arrived at that point, you know?
Yeah. Going from my little handheld Game Boy to 200 pumping someone in the face with him is what I want to do.
Just 90 with Ash.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so yeah,
so
I
funny.
think Nintendo would be great just for that aspect, but I just don't know if Nintendo really cares.
Totally.
They're just like, whatever.
I think they need an insider. They need to hire somebody from the inside of Nintendo, just like figure it out. But it'll happen. It'll just might take forever.
Yeah.
So the other person that we're going to bring up, we've got a few other people here, and we're going to kind of go from what we know to rumors. Okay, so this is embarking into rumor territory. We've got a few things that we do know that's coming up from other people as well, but I just want to preface that this person in particular is on Reddit, and he comes by probably once every season. His name's Smug Mr. Mime, and he comes, drops a nugget of gold, and then disappears again. And some people speculate that he works at Epic. Some people speculate that he's a friend of somebody that works at Epic. But he has info, and this info has carried through time and time again. So he has become a reputable, like, honest source that you can at least take nuggets from and speculate, because things change, and he says that, you know, he says, like, this stuff can change at any given moment. But some of the stuff that he says, I think, is worth mentioning for season 8. So some things just to build his resume for at least this season. He talks about Ariana Grande coming soon in a concert. He talks about the Justice League and Suicide Squad will be added to the game. He doesn't know which characters are going to be added, but he's wondering which ones will be cleared by legal. And he wasn't sure if Batman Who Laughs will be added, but didn't rule it out. He also stated this like so long ago. Epic is currently trying to get Naruto for season 8, and that is now confirmed. So that's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. Season 8 will include an explosive kunai weapon, which is, if you don't know what that is, in Naruto, there's these like daggers that they throw at each other, and they have these spells attached by paper that cause them to explode. So it would be like throwing a knife into a wall, and that wall then explodes. So there's some sort of weapon that will be added into season 8, which is why, you know, it feels like it could be a part of the season pass if that's the case. But, you know, it seems like that's not the case anymore. So then he also says that the cube will return at the end of season 7, which means it would have to be in the event.
Yeah.
Right. It would have to. And then he says something interesting here. He says it's controlled by an unknown queen character that will play a part in chapter 3, not season 7 or season 8, chapter 3.
Yeah. So I wonder if that means the aliens will be here longer than we,
or if we get a new map, bro.
Okay. Yeah. Sign me up.
Get a new map. And he also then starts talking about chapter 3. So that's what makes it weird. It's like he goes from like season 8 to chapter 3. It's interesting. He says chapter 3 will redesign the map completely. No doy. He says the location of the 7 will be revealed in chapter 3, and season 8 will include something called the Sideways.
Yes.
Similar to Stranger Things, and it will release monsters into the game.
This is the perfect time to do it.
Sideways.
Yes, I think if that is true, which again, Smug Mr. Mime is kind of like the Adrian Wojnarowski for Fortnite to me, where almost everything he says is somewhat correct.
Yeah.
A sideways mechanic in a game like that, where the what is it called in the Stranger Things again? It's the upside down, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think that would be insane. So, like, again, and that would be a reality shifting thing,
Yep.
because what's his name? Will, I think, is the kid's name.
Hmm.
His reality consistently changes, and
Right.
it starts to blend together. So I think that is what he means by the last reality. Is
The
you know,
sideways.
these two things will get blended together.
Yeah, that's crazy. I also wonder how they're going to do the sideways. I wonder if it's going to work like the alien ship mechanic, with like maybe you go to the sideways and you have to survive, and then
Yeah.
you get out you with whatever loot you can find, and then monsters are also coming after you. You
Do
bring
you
monsters into
remember?
the
Do you remember the the little rifts that would open up that would show like The Walking Dead,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think it'll be something like that, where it
Like a
just kind of
portal.
appears. Yeah, it just kind of appears on the map and you can walk through it.
It would be really cool if, like, I don't know how you would do an upside down effect without like causing people to puke,
Yeah.
but like it would be cool if it was like you go in that portal and you go out, but you're upside down or sideways or whatever you want to say, and it's the same world, just a different reality of it. Like,
Yeah.
imagine playing the Fortnite map where you can pop between like realities, to switch sides of like where people are. You know, like if you see someone in front of you and you're like, oh, dude, I have no health. You go through the
Yeah.
portal, pop upside down. You're no longer where that guy is, but you're able to pass by, get some health, and then pop back again. Be
Yeah.
kind of interesting. It'd be really cool.
It would be, yeah, that would be an interesting tactic. And I think to make it even harder, you would have the monsters underneath there. So it's not like a free
Right.
escape. Like, you would
Right.
still have to battle out, but it's better than getting cranked on by some sweat skin. I think it's
Yeah.
definitely a good idea.
I'm so curious of how the sideways will play. If that's a thing, it's going to be exciting. The
I
last
hope
thing he
so.
does talk about, though, is rideable monsters and mechs that will come to the island at some point. Probably not this season. So the ability to ride monsters, ride mechs, and do those types of things. So
Yeah.
that's smug Mr. Mime. He does this. He just drops nuggets and bounces. He doesn't do any like comment work. You just like, here you go, and then we all eat it up and freak out. But this post was done what, like 2 months ago, like
Yeah,
a while
a
ago.
while back. Yeah. It
Yeah.
was at least months before the Ariana Grande concert.
Right.
Because that's what sent it into a frenzy. Was it's like, oh my god, Ariana Grande in Fortnite. And yeah, it was true.
It's crazy. Yeah, and then we also have HypeX. I don't know if you've heard of him. Kind of a big deal on Twitter.
Big
He
deal.
essentially has like almost 2 million people that follow him.
Yeah.
He's massive. So he is essentially one of the biggest leakers, and he found some things in the code, and I think this is interesting. He found a cactus consumable. I started off small, so if you're thinking to yourself, oh boy,
Groundbreaking, game breaking, it changes everything.
A cactus consumable. Can't wait to call my mom and tell her about that. And then we've got Naruto and explosive mythic kunais. They're called in this situation mythic kunais. So
Interesting.
it would be like another mythic, which is cool.
And again, that lines up with Smug too.
Yep.
So
Yep. And then we've got a possible pyramid POI, which is interesting because we also got a leaked background with pyramids in it.
Yep.
And so people are speculating, and this is where I think maybe the alien ship might have a POI that just accidentally drops it off and pops it in there, is a freaking full pyramid, like just drops it on the map. We already had a sand season, which is interesting too. So they'll probably bring sand mechanics back and all that good stuff, probably prime it up, because the sand season didn't work for half the season. So maybe this is their
true.
return of we figured it out, and check out how cool this POI is. That's my best guess. We also have the sideways, which he claims is monsters for Halloween. So
and Smug, there we go.
Right. And this could be the Halloween integration to this season. It isn't the full season. It's not the full like story. It's just, this is what happens at Halloween. The sideways is here. You got to deal with it. You got to figure it out. And then it goes away after Halloween or whatnot. So that's interesting, because sometimes you have a full season based off of like, we had a full Christmas season, like I wonder if this will be a like a full
A
season of
full,
this, or
yeah.
just like a small little piece to it.
I kind of hope they do. I miss the times when they would kind of dedicate battle passes to that.
Yeah, totally.
Like back in the early days when it was like 2019, the battle pass for Halloween was like, all right, here's all the spooky stuff.
Yeah, it was
And
cool.
I definitely love that, and I wish they would keep doing that.
Halloween's my favorite Fortnite season, I think.
Yeah,
Well, even over Christmas.
we were talking about that. I still think Christmas is number one. But it's like 1A, 1B for me.
So good. Yeah. And then he says this cubes return for Halloween as a skin. So it'd be like a cube skin. We have seen this leaked in all of these like epic release. Like, are you interested in these types of skins? Pick the ones that draw your interest. There was a Kevin the Cube person. It was interesting. It was cool. But I think this is also another leak for that. And then he says flying animals that drop loot when shot. And it might be for season 9. So he's also confirming what Mime is in the mechs, monsters, rideable stuff, maybe for another season. So it seems like we're moving towards like a lot more integration with, NPCs that are animals, and shooting down a bird might give you, like a gun or something, which would be kind of cool.
That reminds me of one of the seasons in chapter 1. I'm blanking on when it was, but you would shoot those flying machines and they would kind of drop down a gun. I'm blanking on the season. It was with the volcano, but you would shoot the little things and it would drop everything.
Right.
So something we've seen before, but probably going to be a lot harder with the flying animals aspect of it.
Yeah. But I mean, like, how cool would it be if you drop into a really weird POI, or not even a POI, an unnamed location, just like, and then you don't get any chests that game, and you're like, great, let me see if this gray pistol, bandages, and a fishing rod is going to get me through this game. And then all of a sudden you see a bird, you shoot it, and you're like, oh, there's my scar. Like, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have, let's see, these last two people here to talk about. Godless1231 found Tilted. He's really animated about it. He says, breaking news. Tilted has just been spotted on Kevin the Cube on the bottom of the left corner. We can see Tilted Towers. This is in the Chapter 2, Season 7 loading screen, if you're curious. At the bottom corner, you can see Tilted Towers there on Kevin. So, I think my favorite thing about Epic Games is I think they've just have experienced the glamour of Tilted Towers. It's become infamous at this point in time. And I think they just kind of use it to get people amped, fuel them, get them excited. Because when the new season comes, everyone's going to be so stoked about the new season. We're going to forget that we want Tilted Towers again. Yeah. I feel like they just keep doing this. Like, it's just like, Tilted could be here. And it's like, Tilted did come back. And nobody really, it was like, cool, but everyone kept dropping there again. And the games ended with like 4 people in the second zone. Yeah. And so I think they know the problem of Tilted, and they also are just teasing it at this point in time. It would be cool if maybe the alien ship had Tilted and they just put Tilted where Carl is instead, like way off in the corner, so that not everyone and their mother drops there.
Yeah. Wasn't the last Tilted actually the combination of Tilted and like something else? Like, it wasn't actually Tilted. And I feel like if they're gonna do it this next time, they just needed to just give the full thing, because that's just gonna get rid of the allure of Tilted coming back, as if you just give it to them for one season.
If Tilted, I don't know if you guys know this, those who are listening, Tilted isn't creative. You can go to Tilted there.
Yeah, that is true. You can go to the Zone Wars too in Tilted and do that as well.
Have fun, guys. Have fun.
Trust me, it wasn't as great as people make it out to be. It was actually a terrible place to battle people, but you just love it because it brought back the old memories.
Yeah, it's your classic nostalgia over everything moment. Yeah. Our last thing we're talking about is Zexius.
You nailed that.
Zexius. And this is off of Fortnite Reddit insider information. And so let me pull this up real quick here. They talk about the Operation Skyfire event countdown will appear tomorrow. It did. The Sideways will be coming season 8, and maybe something similar to the Mothership's mini game, which is new information. So Sideways could act like the mini game that you love.
That would be awesome. That would be would that not be to save the world though? Because I'm assuming it would be an aspect of zombies, right? Because that's kind of what they do is they do the Fortnite zombies or whatever, or Fortnitemares. But yeah, that would be so cool if they had these little areas that had the portals for the Sideways, and you go into them, get better loot, and come back out.
Right. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, Smug Mr. Mime also confirmed Mike Lowry, Shang-Chi, language made it seem more than one thing. I don't know what that means. And then he also has something that hasn't come out yet called First Shadows coming to the Fortnite crew. I don't know what that would be.
Probably one of those, pack skins that I'll never buy because I'm not doing the Fortnite crew.
You're not on the crew, huh?
No, I need to stop spending money on the game, so I'm trying to not spend money on the game. But then every battle pass rolls around, and I'm like, yeah, I might as well buy 25 tiers. And I might as well just get the crew pack too, but I just don't.
Yeah. That makes sense. I feel like we've been playing this game for a long time. I think most people think it's going to kind of bounce after a while, but it's been staying strong.
I don't think so.
Yep. Well, those are all of, I think, the biggest ones. Do you have any other ones that are worth talking about for
the only rumor I've really heard is there's going to be another black hole kind of thing where they will shut the game down. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I was reading on Twitter, which then got me excited about the new map kind of thing. But obviously, I think if they're really going to do a new map, it'll be Chapter 3. I think it's just cleaner, and I wouldn't mind it at all. It would suck because it'd probably mean another year until that happens.
Right.
But I do think it's just the cleanest way to transition between maps. Yeah, other than that, I'm excited because I'm actually trying my best to stay out of like the legit leaks because I love when I'm like brand new to the events.
Yeah, so I ruined it all for you.
No, like these are fine, but like when the leaks come out that are like, there's people who like actually leak the event like days prior, and like those kind of people, I wish would just stop doing that.
Yeah, and they get a bad rep for it. I feel like they don't grow a huge population for that or following for that.
But leaking like the Sideways and the cactus consumable, which is a huge thing.
Yeah, it's massive. Massive.
Those I think are great. I have no problem with those. That just gets me more hyped.
Also, I feel like what's interesting about where we are going is at some point in time, Creative 2.0 needs to show up. And I feel like in between seasons, like it's interesting that servers are going down. I wonder if servers are going down for Creative 2.0.
That is what I've heard too. And then people have been testing it out as well in some capacity. So I wonder if that's coming. But didn't we have Mustard on and he kind of mentioned something that it won't be that soon?
Well, he was just trying to help people be patient.
Yeah. Be more patient with it.
Yeah. My guess is what naturally feels to make the most sense is season 3 or chapter 3.
Yeah.
But you never know. I mean, I feel like those creative tool sets, if they're ready to release it, if it's ready to release, why wait so many seasons? And the only time they shut the servers down is when something big happens, or something, significant is going on. It could also be Unreal, like the new Unreal Engine integration. I don't know, but I'm just kind of reeling at like what we have talked about. There's people saying season 9, in some of these leaks that are, pretty notorious for being correct.
Yeah.
So if we're not getting a full new map, what would be the reasons for server shutdown?
Yeah. I mean, that's the exciting part is I just don't know. And I cannot wait to find out.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Well, that's it from us, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is everything that we kind of found that we thought would be important for you to hear about before going into season 8. I hope you guys are excited about this season as much as we are. Cannot wait to play it with you guys. Feel free to follow, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Really helps out this channel. Share this podcast with anybody that really needs to hear what's going to go on, to get your friends hyped. If there's some people that have fallen off and haven't played in a while, send them this podcast. Might get them pumped. We'll see you guys in season 8. Thank you guys so much for the time. I'll see you in the next. Well, I'll hear you. You'll listen to me in the next podcast. Later.